Ahead goal in the final 20 minutes of play. Sanford able to get the equalizer less than 10 minutes later, and that's some momentum coming down to Auburn. You draw against one top 25 team on the road, and well, you have a chance to build on that today.
Well, they defended well. They were outpossessed, outplayed a bit, especially in the first half by Sanford. But nothing went in the back of the net. Good, strong, collective defending. And then they took their chance and could easily have won that game.
Army with the first touch, and we are underway here in the loveliest village on the plains. Sydney Richards takes it out of the air. That was 14-on-14 there with Drysdale. Army pokes it back, and Drysdale working off to our right near sideline out of play for an Auburn throw-in. Good to see that early energy in the first opening seconds of the match. Again, two hard-fought matches on Thursday by both squads, and a little different, though, playing on Thursday night or Friday night. Auburn looking to go over the top, and that is an easy play there for Sage Stroman, who's in net today for Army. But on Sunday, Mac, when you're playing 2 games a weekend, look, listen, you're playing in the heat of the day, especially in this part of the country in the southeast. I am curious for Army. What does this mean for them today playing in this heat and humidity?
And your average midfielder's running 6 to sometimes 9 miles a game.
Prohaska coming well out of the 18-yard box. But Army calling offsides up top, and that'll be an Auburn free kick.
An early warning shot across the bow for Auburn. Playing a high line today.
Yeah.
Army almost able to sneak in behind. Palian had a good run, but just a little bit early.
And I think that was Darren Murray, number 11, up top on the run, who got caught offside. She scored 2 goals last year for Army. So, I mean, their top line with Talley and also Urkoff, I mean, there's a lot of goal-scoring potential there between that trio. Intercepted on the back line is Hayden Colson. Tigers have 2 freshmen battling for a right back position this year, and Colson in Houston. Up the pitch, Candelino with space, and is blocked by the center back, Ritchie.
Really good early sign for Auburn. That ball laid in beautifully by Hayden Colson with the running feet of Anna Haddock, and a great check across by Kando to get on the end of that one.
And Kando just not tall enough with the ball there from Colson. Black Knights will have a chance to reset with Stroman. And for Candelino, that was a lot of space there that she got for that turnaround shot. But boy, Ritchie, the senior captain on that back line, preseason All-Patriot League. She's a leader that's going to be challenged today. One-on-one, diving effort by Stroman. That'll beat Candelino to the ball.
And good battles early on, center back, center forward, nobody giving an inch. It's great to see a keeper come out, Sage Stroman coming out strong to own her box. Anything in that box belongs to her.
And what's the mindset? That is the mindset, Mac, that you got to have as a keeper. And I think you'll see that from both ends today. Stroman already proven it, and you and I have had the privilege of seeing Maddie Prohaska over the last 2 years.
Well, it's just pretty simple principle. Somebody plays a ball in that box, it belongs to you. You make the decisions. You're that captain of that area, and typically the area in front of it as well. But good to see strong keeper play always.
Ping pong out of bounds. Tigers with a throw in far sideline. I know there's nothing more Coach Karen Hoppe would like than an early start. A goal in the first 5 of the first 10 to set the pace here. But Army switching the field in transition, coming from behind the veteran senior back, the 5th year, Emmy Craven with a takeaway. More to Kando, and Kando just unable to connect with Maddie Simpson. High lofting ball coming in from Stroman. Wesh having it taken away from Palian. On the turn, Richards through the legs of Murray, and Murray able to tap it away, but Haley Whitaker using the one-on-one speed against Bradley. And to Army's credit, Mac, Auburn unable to control the midfield early. Up the near flank is Talley. Talley with a cross into the box with a shot on goal and a diving save. Maddie Prohaska taking one away from Darren Murray.
Brilliant buildup down the right side. Haley Whitaker was a little slow to recover, to be honest. And when Army went to switch, she held her high spot. Ball got reversed, and a great early cross put on frame.
Well, and notice, Mac, that's the second target Army has had for Murray. Remember, she was called offsides in the first opening seconds of the match. Tigers on the counter. Here's Kando looking to cut inside and denied by that Army back line. And again, impressed with Army in the game plan and the chances they're taking early in this match, Mac, because, again, they're trying to set the tone themselves. It's not just Auburn.
No, they are coming out and very much establishing a quick counterattacking rhythm, and you see a great example of it here. Again, early cross, and if it weren't for an alert goalkeeper Maddie Prohaska, that ball's tucked home.
Haddock out wide. Colson jetting up the right sideline. Out wide for the Tigers. And Sklopen, even with the box cutting inside. Safely back to Haddock. Haddock, left foot, not through the back wall. Not out of danger yet is Haley Whitaker there to pressure Kaylee Bradley. Whitaker from behind. And Whitaker wins the one-on-one matchup. And that's why Haley Whitaker has established herself as the top outside back. Over the top to Sydney Richards, but a whistle by the official.
And Haley's recovery speed, you simply can't teach that. Like to see her with a little better distribution once she wins the ball. But again, she's just beginning to really lock down that position. Second year, she's really dedicated herself to it. Does a very, very nice job.
Lindsey Smith boots it away. And that's not the ball you want off a free kick. Mac, what's the target there?
You know, she's just trying to play it deep down the corner. Sometimes it's a lot like rugby. You're just looking for some field position to start again. But you'd like to see that ball over Auburn's back or to the feet of one of their forwards.
Kando surrounded, plays it safely down the sideline. Whitaker to Simpson, but overshot the pass. Taken away by Fontana, but Army gives it right back to Auburn.
Got a great example of what I'm talking about there. Ball falls to Haley's feet, and she, you know, it's a risky ball over the top, but Auburn has a chance to hold that ball, be patient, build up through the back. Right now, everything is so direct.
Well, and you and I had the privilege of calling the Auburn and West Virginia match on Thursday, and one noticeable difference I see, Mac, from Auburn's buildup is today they seem to be favoring the right. On Thursday night, they were very much favoring the left with Sydney Richards and Anna Haddock, and to be fair, they got a lot of chances out of that.
Yeah, they were a very one-sided attack, and you're right, it's kind of switched sides. Grace Sklopen getting more chances. Sydney Richard tucking in tight in the middle.
Over the top, looking for Murray. And a whistle as Emmy Craven, the captain for Auburn, goes down. Emmy Craven, a graduate out of Atlanta, Georgia, went to Lambert High School. Member of the All-SEC tournament team last year. Won an OSPE as well, Mac. You're very familiar with the OSPEs. Remind everybody, what is an OSPE for those that don't know?
I don't have any idea, Brett. I'm just...
Of course you would.
Yeah,
of course you would. Just leave me out to dry.
God, it's my job.
I appreciate that.
No, but I do love Emmy's game. She's so tall, wins everything in the air. Great feet, reads through balls beautifully.
Tigers deep inside their attacking third. And Anna Haddock, no, that was Hannah Wesh. Taking a chance from outside the 18-yard box and just didn't strike it cleanly.
And she's either got to commit to that fully, go toe down and really rip that ball, or spray it wide. Grace was there in space. Look to get in a little deeper and then whip it across the box.
Auburn with 2 shots, Auburn with 1. Just under 10 minutes in to the first half. Haddock whips it out wide to Richards. Whitaker to work from the back. And even then, that pass off the mark. And that's the top thing I'm seeing today, Mac, is for Auburn's sake, they're just not connecting as cleanly as they did on Thursday.
And the ball is either just off target or legs are just a little tired. I like the combination play better, playing that ball back to your outside back who then builds into space.
But you're seeing the same thing from Army as well.
That's right. Everybody's a little tired, and the humidity, you just can't discount how bad it is right now. Fall can't get here quick enough.
Well, and we touched on the humidity a bit, but from coaches, players, everybody, do you approach Sunday any different on a two-match weekend, or is the approach the exact same where you just tough it out?
Well, it's the same routine, but I'm sure there's additional hydration, nutrition concerns, especially the hydration. It's just you can't help but be a little depleted already.
Beautiful ball forward. Kando chips one up to Sydney Richards. Trying to recover is Smith. Ball into the box. That is Sclopin on the ball. To Haddock, Auburn's captain and leading scorer, making the turn and softly hit. Easy to corral there for St. Stroman. Nothing going there for the Auburn Tigers and their captains.
And everybody just a little too content to watch Anna do her work. Nobody took the risk of recycling that run to the center of the goal. She laid off a beautiful ball backwards, but literally two players standing and watching. That's what we talked about, those forwards. There's a chance, Britt. Take a chance, score a goal.
And connect with Anna Haddock. Give Anna an assist rather than make her do the work.
Well, I think everybody was waiting for Anna to shoot it. But Anna knew she didn't have a good angle, pulled it back across, a little cutback cross, and the only player there was Army's keeper, Stroman.
Well, and there are pros and cons in having a player like Haddock. Ball forward with Moore. Whitaker having to get way wide, unable to control it.
And that's what I've been looking for. Now you've got an outside back in the attack, and that's what Auburn does. Whether they're already pushing that back up the field in a 3-5-2 or building out of the back with a 4-3-3, that's much more what Coach Hoppe likes to see.
Well, at least with Whitaker, you have to think about her. She's an unusual outside back because she can play at the top of the forward position, she can play in the midfield out wide, or she can play on the back line, where for Auburn, just due to depth, that's where they need her. And, well, she can create a lot from the back, Mac, and when she does that, that's when Auburn's at their best.
And Auburn's got a long tradition of outside backs getting the attack as wingers, and she's the next in that iteration.
And a Haddock on a free kick for Auburn. Everybody stacking at the back side of the box, up at the top. Haddock, center of the box. On Drysdale, getting ahead on it first, and that'll give Stroman the chance to take it away from Auburn. Stroman showed good command early. Been tested a couple times. But also, too, I think the back line, given the pressure that Auburn has put on Army, I think the back line of Smith, Ritchie, Vesey, and Oberhaus has played exceptionally well.
Well, they pride themselves on a compact, collective defense. It's one of their principles of play that they adhere to very, very strongly, and so far, very few gaps.
Well, I asked Coach Chow this week, hey, which unit's playing the best? Where's your strength right now at this point in the season? And she said, without a doubt, it's been the defense. And it is interesting. I think mostly every coach we've talked to this early in the season, Mac, I think most attacks trying to find their rhythm. So Auburn didn't have anybody home in the box there. Everybody's leaning on their defense until they get that offensive rhythm.
Well, most coaches tend to build defense first. You build from the back up. That gives you some comfort, and all it takes is one or two good chances to win a game, and you're not going to lose too many of them. But this is the point of the season, as everybody's getting ready to enter their conference play, where what distinguishes teams is attacking confidence and connections. You can see Auburn's got Kando up top and absolutely nobody else within 30 yards. So she's got to hold it long enough for help to arrive.
Kando to the top to Simpson. Simpson tied up in the middle by Ritchie. Actually, I think that was Drysdale. Tally out to the left, going to Murray, who's had 2 solid chances today. In the middle to the captain in Drysdale, out wide to Bradley. Bradley looking to go back, and they'll play it safely with a slow bid. That's one thing with the pace of play. Army, for them to be successful today, they've got to control the pace. Doing a good job here. Here's Dara Murray, and looks to attack that back post, but goes wide.
Excellent build-up. That little hesitation in the midfield that started with the ball at Tiggs at Drysdale's feet. That's what allowed that space to develop in the middle, and that overlapping run from Murray put Auburn in a bad place. She'd had a better shot that could have been trouble.
Well, and there you see why Tiggs is in the middle, why she's so important on both on the attacking end, but up top back, I have been impressed with Dara Murray and her ability to make runs and get behind a very experienced Auburn back line.
Well, she's being very smart in playing between Auburn's outside back, Colson, and their right center back, Emmy Craven. So she's running that gap in between them, and it's gotten the ball at her feet 3 times now in a dangerous position. Well,
when I say experience, it's certainly considering Craven, Moore, and Whitaker, but Hayden Colson, obviously a freshman out of Denton, Texas, who, by the way, has stepped in and won an open spot fair and square this year. Played well, but today is certainly a good test with Dara Murray, who's a senior for Army.
Sometimes it's not just a positioning battle, but a communication battle, and she's got to be willing as a freshman to alert Emmy Craven in front of her. Sometimes it's really hard to speak with authority to older classmen.
And a Haddock tied up at the top, taken down by Smith. She's slow to get up, and Army's going to take it the other way. Tally getting help from Bradley. Up the pitch is Palian. From behind, good takeaway there for Maddie Simpson. Simpson, the junior out of Wisconsin for Auburn.
Again, Simpson doing an excellent job of checking back defensively as a striker. Anna Haddock replaced her up top, but Auburn slowing the game down, building up the other side.
Kendo going to her right to Colson, back to Kendo. Some room to charge forward. Lindsey Smith sending it back to the midfield. Craven was looking long, unsure where to go, decided to go short. The Tigers working methodically up that far right sideline.
And there's the ball I've been screaming for up here in the booth to start this big switch. And now there's space in the midfield to exploit in the middle of the switch. And again, that pass just off, but that's the right idea. Drop it, switch it, either complete the switch or you penetrate through the middle in the middle of the switch.
Good recovery by Hayden Colson.
She's a very strong defender. Comes out of a very, very strong program out of FC Dallas. She's just learning the attacking side of this game, though.
Speaking of FC Dallas, Mac, Auburn's had quite a few players that has come through that club program. Tell me more. What is it about FC Dallas and the type of players that they produce in that club?
Well, it's turned into quite a pipeline that Coach Hoppe has worked very hard to break into. It's Southern California, anywhere really in Texas, St. Louis, Eastern Seaboard. It's where you get a lot of your soccer talent. And just excellent competition as ECNL teams play against SEC caliber talent day in and day out, so they're much more game ready.
Marissa Arias checking in for Maddie Simpson. Arias, her second consecutive game off the bench, Mac. And, well, for Arias, again, everybody gets so caught up into who's starting, who's not. We touched on it today, but Arias, she has been good off the bench for Auburn. She played some of her best soccer as a sub last year.
And if you cannot be selfish, which is hard not to do as a striker, it's part of the mentality that it takes to stick it in the back of the net, then you can roll 3 for 2 positions and be very effective.
Kando Gives to Sclopin. Back to Cando. Making a run. Back post is Richards, but is headed out of danger by Oberhaus. Flash down to Whitaker off the chest. And too much mustard behind the pass to Aria. She's a quick player, even with fresh legs off the bench, but
the chemistry just isn't there yet. She, as quick as she is, she had to start that run in anticipation of the pass, but it's just not happening yet.
Well, Mac, we talked with Coach Hoppe about chemistry this year. Because, there's a lot of expectations around this soccer team, so primarily because of so many starters returning to this team. I think, 10 starters returning for the Tigers this year. Well, everybody expects things just to be clicking, pick up where you left off last year. Well, last year, they had some injuries come November. They weren't a healthy team in the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. So this year, it's taken a little time for that chemistry to build. I think it's gotten better and better each week as play's gone on. But for Auburn, it's certainly still something they're working on and trying to establish.
Well, different formation, and it's really difficult. Coaches get addicted to formations and then recruit players to fit them, because it's a whole lot easier when those principles of play, that sense of how you move the ball, where and when, is already in place, and they're relearning.
Drysdale aiming for her target up top. Not a bad run.
It's a really good ball over the top, but again, Maddie Prohaska has seen a million of those, so she read it. She's playing chess. Sometimes looks like she's on a checkers board.
I think that was Caitlin Palian who made the run there for Army. Palian, 1 goal already this year. That was against Fairleigh Dickinson.
And Marissa just needed one more small touch there. Turned to acknowledge that was on her. Great entry ball, straight run, and a ball that split Army's back four.
Richards to Arias just inside the box. Backwards pass to Haddock. Haddock trying to make something happen. Deflected. Sclopin, ball to the near post, and Arias trying to make a run. Just got there too late.
And Haddock is taking that ball across the box, looking to get one little opening for that left foot. I am encouraged. You saw that ball back to the back post, and you'll see Marissa Arias. Again, Anna searching. A little nice back heel. She's searching for just the gap to get that shot off, but watch Arias flash at the back post. That tells me she was anticipating, and that's what we were missing earlier in the game.
Yeah, you mentioned that with Haddock. She was working right post, didn't have an angle, looking to cut back with a pass, and nobody was there. Arias able to make that adjustment, and that is part of the position back, which you can obviously elaborate more on, but you got to have vision. You have to be able to see the field and anticipate play. That was good anticipation there for the Army Black Knights.
Again, a lot of it is just taking chances on your run. Recycle your run. I tell my wingers all the time, make 10 runs. You're going to get the ball one time. Recycle it the other 9, and then make that one count.
Thinking Out Loud is back for another season with Spencer Hall and Richard Johnson. They'll break down the weekend on the gridiron, talk about the hottest topics for the coming week, and preview Saturday's biggest games. Monday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Back over 20 minutes in to this first half of play. What trends are you picking up on?
Well, for Auburn, there's better build-up. Again, I think they've got to look for more combination play. But for Army, besides that left side that Murray's been getting in on, and then Palian, I've not seen the ball as much at Drysdale's feet as I'd like to see. She's the orchestrator, but they're not feeding her the ball as much, and so they would benefit from focusing on getting that to her.
Auburn with 3 shots. Army has 2. Auburn's controlled possession, but make no mistake, Army has held their own today, Mac.
Well, they have. They've been working off the counterattack, win the ball early and switch it big to the other side, and it's been pretty effective. They're being benefited by an Auburn attack that just seems intent on dribbling into the teeth of their back four. And they've got to get a little bit more sophisticated in that attack, and maybe Carly Thatcher, who's just coming in, can help contribute to that.
Well, and Sammy Brown had some meaningful minutes against West Virginia on Thursday, who, by the way, is in the stands today. Coach Nikki Izzo Brown. West Virginia played Auburn in a 0-0 draw on Thursday night. Well, the Mountaineers will play the Sanford Bulldogs at the Auburn Soccer Complex following the conclusion of Auburn and Army later this afternoon. So soccer fans getting a great doubleheader here on the Plains today. Kando dribbling. Those near post when she had Sammy Brown, I thought, open back at the top of the box.
Sammy let her know about it after it was over. She said, give me the ball at my feet. She had opportunities in that game against her mom's team. Yeah. And again, the West Virginia-Sanford game that's coming is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, and it was really funny when she subbed in against West Virginia Thursday night with Coach Nikki Izzo Brown. And if you met Coach Brown, she's an incredible coach, as any coach is, especially during a game. She's focused, she's locked in, but just for a spare second, for the first time ever, when she subbed in for a spare second, she got a chance to be a mom and not a coach. And then very quickly she had to flip that switch and get back in the game. But Sammy, I think, gave her mom a heart attack, not once but twice in that game, but getting a shot on goal.
You could see the mom emerge for about 2.5 seconds, and then she's yelling at her players again. But you're right, Sammy had 2 good looks early in that.
Sammy goes to Arias here near sideline. Pressured from behind by Drysdale, the captain, and Drysdale gets the advantage over Arias. And the Black Knights have a free kick. And just strong, composed play there with Lauren Drysdale.
A poor touch by Arias that she'd love to have back initiated that. And then the jersey pulling got called by the referee.
And for Lauren Drysdale, take a moment to mention what she's accomplished this year, Max. She has been named the first captain of her class at Army, only the 8th woman ever to be named the first captain, and the 2nd soccer player to be named the first captain. Matter of fact, the first female first ever female captain was a soccer player back in 1990 in Kristen Baker. And back to be a first captain, that is everything at West Point.
Well, we want her to have a chance to just be a soccer player for a few minutes, so we kind of held off on that a bit. But what an honor to call the game with the first captain of West Point Military Academy here, and dictating how things work on the field. That's her job with 4,400 cadets at West Point as well.
Deflected out of play into the box, and Auburn forces a corner for the first time today, which, by the way, rain is starting to fall here at the Auburn Soccer Complex. It's a light rain, but fans starting to scatter. How does this affect play in the footing back and the grip and just getting a chance to control the ball, which has been tough to do today?
For the first few minutes, it's a keeper's nightmare, and the last thing you want is a corner when it's starting to rain.
Here's Haddock, near post, in to the goal, and a goal for Auburn! That was Emmy Craven who got on the end of it for the Auburn Tigers. Craven's first goal of the year, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead.
And the referee does not appear interested in the argument from Sage Stroman that she was interfered with. I'm sure we'll get another look at it. But I literally, not to toot my own horn, Brett, but I told you, goalkeeper's a nightmare to have a wet ball served on a corner before you can begin to get some sense. And Emmy Craven, all 6 foot 2 inches of her, up to fight for that ball, and they need somebody to get the scoring started.
Going to be honest with you, Mac, it was a scramble. I thought at first it was Hayden Colson there, but again, after getting another look, it was Emmy Craven who got on the end of it, her first of the year. And Mac, she's a center back, Mac. That's what she can do. She scored 3 goals last year for the Tigers. Now Army attempting a counter to get back into it. This is Duffy. Duffy, by the way, one of the top substitutions for Army, only a freshman.
she's got to learn the game in a hurry. They're going to lose some critical seniors next year. None more important than Lauren Drysdale. We just saw on the ball feeding it forward, but a lot of growing to do in a very short period of time.
Craven one-on-one with Duffy. Able to get it back to midfield, and back retreating is Overhaus, the outside back. Addie Prohaska will control at her feet. But for Auburn, Amy Craven getting on the end of that corner kick back, and Anna Haddock getting the assist. Well, that's got to get the monkey off your back if you're Auburn, right? I mean, it lets you play, lets you breathe a little bit, because you could tell, so you could sense a little frustration Thursday night in that West Virginia match. With, again, I thought they had the better of the chances between the two teams, and it was a night, it just wasn't going their way, and thanks in large part to the keeper from West Virginia.
Well, she did have a great night. That was a lot of fun to watch, but Auburn's been tight, and then things have not been smooth up top. And you're right, this may give them a little bit of breathing space to start working on cleaner combinations and more technical finishing.
Sammy Brown bit the dust, and Auburn giving the advantage. Little foul from behind by Madison Nebish.
Yeah, Madison not liking that call, thinks that Sammy ought to be stronger than that. But,
and correction, Nybish. Well, want to make sure I got it right. My apologies to Madison.
Subs are number 28, Aaron Houston. Number 1, Haley Whitaker.
Aaron Houston coming in for Haley Whitaker. And Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the first time we've seen Aaron Houston and Hayden Colson on the pitch at the same time. And so Aaron Houston's going to go to the left outside back position. And I say that, it very well could have happened when the Tigers played at Wake Forest last week. Sammy Brown keeping it in Auburn territory. Nice hesitation for Houston, and uses his speed to get around, splitting the defense, even with the box. Pass intercepted on the back line by the center back captain Emma Ritchie. On a play for an Auburn throw.
And Britt, another critical substitution for Auburn. LJ Knox back on the field at center back. It's been a while since we've seen her. Played every minute in the spring. So Auburn with several changes in the back.
Colson working it to the right and has her pocket pick up the sideline, and Colson forcing the throw. Man, great pressure there from the Black Knights. Drysdale coming out, and Silvestro coming on, the freshman from New Jersey.
Another critical freshman for Lauren Drysdale. Army got to learn her way this season. These kinds of minutes are incredibly valuable. Very, very smart player coming in to sit at the 6 a little bit and provide some shield on that back line.
Tigers trying to chip it forward for Arias. Like the idea, just too much on the pass. And off to the midfield we go. Auburn's goal came off a corner kick, and a Haddock connecting with Emmy Craven. Craven, by the way, a great target, standing at 6'2".
Number 15, Sydney Thibodeau.
And Sydney Thibodeau coming on for Hannah Wesch. Thibodeau, another solid sub off the bench for Auburn. Scored that great equalizer at Florida State, the defending national champions down in Tallahassee just last week. Hard shot blocked up by the back line. And for Thibodeau, wasting no time to make her mark on this game, or at least trying to. After Army, they're trying to build and see if they can get one back and make this a tie ball game going into halftime. Thatcher back to Knox. And LJ Knox, by the way, Mac, I know Auburn's extremely happy to have her back now for the last week, as LJ and her family, our hearts are still out to them, as LJ unfortunately lost her brother unexpectedly a couple weeks ago, and she had to step away from the team for a couple days, but has been very supported. Here's Sammy Brown attempting to connect with Arias. Oh, and nearly missing by inches on a play for an Army goal kick. Sammy Brown becoming a playmaker for Auburn. She can create.
Well, she shows this ball right. I love this little open hip and then flip it back inside. Brilliant ball across. And Marissa really tried a cheeky back heel finish that just be nice to put something on that ball so it's headed towards goal, but much better build-up play. Sammy Brown becoming, it's a revelation to me, Britt.
Yes, indeed. And for Sammy, you love seeing players play their way into the lineup, and that's what Sammy Brown has done. Haddock one-on-one there, getting a touch on Duffy. Fontana plays it as her feet. And Smith didn't have the angle to keep it in.
It's really interesting what Coach Hopp has done here. She's actually withdrawn Anna Haddock to the holding center mid and pushed Thibodeau up top to work as that 10, that attacking center mid.
How do you like Thibodeau in that position?
Well, she's a bigger body up there, and she's got a monster of a left foot. We've seen that rocket launched a few times, and so it's Anna in that holding spot. That's not normal for her, but she's such a smart player. I'm sure she can do it very comfortably.
To the midfield with Fontana. Overhaas going up top to Elise Urkoff, who had the go-ahead goal against Sanford on Thursday night. Thatcher to Arias. Arias getting a run from Sabrina McNeil, but caught offside by the linesman.
And that pass had to come on the second or third touch for Thatcher. Thatcher made the right run. A little bit too long on the ball before it was released to her.
Under 10 minutes to play in the first half, Mac Matthews. What do you want to see here in the final 10 from both teams?
Well, I want to see Army recreate a little width in their attack. You could throw a blanket over all 5 of their attackers in the center of the field. It's not stressing Auburn's back 4 at all. So I don't know how they do that. If they roll a winger out wider or send an outside back. For Auburn, I want to see a commitment to additional combination play up top. That's going to unlock that really condensed Army back 4.
Fallen Wider and Cook checking in for Army. And by the way, the rain's still steadily falling here at the Auburn Soccer Complex. It's been falling steady for the last 10 to 15 minutes, and right after it started falling, that is when Auburn was able to chip that corner in off the head of Emmy Craven. Tigers lead at 1-0 over Army, but the Black Knights, the few chances that they've had today were 2 good chances, Mac.
Well, they came early off the runs of Murray from that left side, but the big switch, again, that width out wide right was paying off by getting crosses, and they need more of that.
Golson going hard in with a slide from Nybish. Brown out of the air. Played down by McNeil. Off the flagpole, that's out of bounds past the inline, and that's going to take an Auburn deflection for a corner.
The
rain really coming down a bit harder now, Britt. It's even more troubling for Stroman. She's going to have to get out early and really own her, at least her 6.
I called you a prima donna for wanting the windows closed today in the booth, and I am eating my words.
It's about time, Britt.
I made him a couple times today. McNeil with the right foot. Curling back in, too much curl as it goes on top of the net for an Army goal kick. As a player, do you like playing in the rain, or do players like playing in the rain? What's that like? I know some like it, some hate it. What's the pros and cons of it?
It's a lot of fun. The field's slick. In fact, my players, we were training Monday night a week ago, and it was raining so hard, and they've never had more fun sliding everywhere. Goalkeepers hate it.
I'm sure the moms and dads hate it for the laundry.
That's right.
You know?
And when it just starts raining like this, that ball will skip and stay unexpectedly low, and you've got to be prepared for it. And then when you get too much rain on the field, the ball actually settle in puddles, and it's just a nightmare.
Tell me about keepers and their gloves. I have no idea. I've never worn a pair of goalkeeper gloves. How much grip is there? Again, another quick corner coming for Auburn, the third of the match.
There's a lot of sticky on the new technology. It's not like wide receivers' gloves where they really seem to hold the ball with one fingertip. But it's pretty substantial.
McNeil again, left foot, head on by Army. Thibodeau goes for the shot, but blocked up by Urkov of the Black Knights. Auburn really pressing here in the final 7 or 8 minutes, trying to get one more. They want to be up 2, Mac, going into the locker room.
Well, if you can get a second, it really does even more so dramatically change the game. You can really relax at that point and search for a third in creative ways.
Colson and taken to the ground, whistle, and it'll be on Colson. Now Army, good timing for them, because still just under 5 minutes back. That's time to build. When they're patient, and we've seen it today, they can build a beautiful attack.
Well, they can, and they've just got to clear their lines right now. Auburn's had them locked in for the last 6 or 7 minutes, and a big ball, if you can win the second, and they pride themselves on that kind of tenacity, allows you to get out. See if they can't find some width.
Yeah.
And get back in the attack.
If you're Coach Chow, what are you thinking right now? What are you expecting? What are you looking for here in these final 4?
Well, I just want my team to win those second balls. I mean, they haven't played poorly at all.
Yeah.
Their defense has been substantial. Auburn has not scored a goal in the run of play. It's on that set piece, and their keeper, Stroman, would tell you it was illegal.
Well,
but they just need to win the second and be a little more patient.
And taking nothing away from Auburn and Haddock and Amy Craven connecting on that corner at all, but the timing was unfortunate. You had the play that you think could have been interference there. Ball in, headed. Thatcher just wide. Not a bad chance there for Auburn. But also, it was right after the rain had started, Max. I mean, like, just mentally, there was a shift, and Army unable to make the adjustment.
Well, just like we were talking about it, literally at that moment. I'm sure they're thinking about it. And very, very unfortunate.
That was a nice ball there. That was Olivia Fouts serving it in to Carly Thatcher. Thatcher, by the way, who has 4 career goals for Auburn, scored 1 this year, 1 against Southern Miss.
Oh, very dynamic player with great feet. She's a little undersized for the SEC. But you can't teach the other things that she has.
She's quick, and she is good with the ball at her feet. Through ball denied with a sliding tackle from Lindsey Smith. Ritchie with a head on it. Thibodeau, the Tigers pressing into the 18-yard box. Contact from behind. Referee, I don't think, had a good view of it. She was blocked. Her line of vision was blocked by, I think, just the traffic in front. And Auburn's going to have to keep arguing, and the Tigers will have a throw-in instead.
And she forced her way through very, very well. It looked like she went down a little easy, and that seems to be what the referee would agree with as well.
Making the turn is Nybish. Gets around Carly Thatcher. Nybish gaining real estate. Her cross back to the midfield short, but found at the feet. And Prohaska clears it out. That was Duffy who got a piece of it. Duffy looking wide and finding Nybish. Urkov tying up with Auburn's Mooney, and out of warrant, an Auburn free kick.
And here's another look at that no call. She works her way through, and again, if I'm the referee, that's a little bit hard to go no call. The Army defender, I think that was Oberhaus, had an arm draped around her shoulder, and that could have been called.
On a danger for Fallenweider. 60 seconds here, Matt. Got to stay composed if you're Army. For Auburn trying to make a little magic happen as Brooke Burdan comes in for Carly Thatcher.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute. The Auburn sub is number 5, Brooke Burdan. For number 7, Carly Thatcher.
Coming up at the half, we'll have some good content for you. And also, look into Army's busy week. Get more into the Lauren Drysdale story, the 8th female first captain, and also a first half recap. Low cross. Ritchie booting it out of play. Under 10 seconds.
6, 5,
Thibodeau
4,
with 4
3,
seconds.
2,
Dribbles into
1.
traffic, and the Army Black Knights clear it out of danger to end the first half of play. Emmy Craven hooking up with Anna Haddock on the corner, and that's what set Auburn apart 1-0 after 45 minutes of play. Stay with us. Coming up at the break, we'll recap the first half and talk about the Army Black Knights. Stay with us. 1-0 Tigers at the break.
Army's chances were early and often. They had several in the opening 5 minutes of the game. They all came when the ball worked its way back through Tig's feet. Lauren Drysdale, she switched the field, and another big switch let Murray get in on the backside. But you're right, Auburn clamped down as the half went on, and Army's got to reestablish some attacking flow. 45
minutes to go, and friendly reminder, it's all we'll see today because there's no overtime this year in college soccer, at least not until the postseason. And just ask the Auburn Tigers. They have had a draw their last 3 matches. Army 2 draws this year, coming off one on Thursday against a quality Sanford team who, by the way, will be playing West Virginia following the conclusion of this match today, Mac. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a little sad we're not calling that one. That's a great matchup.
It'll be a fun game to call. We know West Virginia from that original call, and we always know Sanford right up the road, and quite a good team under Coach Todd, and that's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, Coach Yelton, his squad, they came to Auburn last year for the NCAA tournament, stunned the Tigers.
Took care of business, that's right.
And really, about that Auburn-Sanford matchup, that's a rivalry in soccer. I know most Auburn fans may not view Sanford as a rival in most sports, but in soccer and women's soccer, that is a tough matchup. And the Tigers, they head to Sanford, I believe, next weekend, 1 week from today.
That's right.
Ball in the box, little tug from behind. Amy Craven hits the deck, and Army, that is a foul called on Madison Nybish.
See, at West Point, when you hit the deck, Britt, it's followed by push-ups. So Amy Craven should have been a little stronger.
Man, those Army players, though, just what they go through day to day, it's not your typical routine. It's strictly a military routine. I mean, a rigorous academic schedule. And then these athletes have to go and get ready and try to be Division I athletes. Just what they go through day in and day out is so astonishing to me. Is just how they're able to do it, and not only that, Mac, do it at a high level.
That's right. It's not just about surviving in that environment, it's thriving in it.
Yeah.
And that's what these young ladies do.
Arias approaching for Auburn. Defended well from behind by Ritchie. But another thing about Army, though, because I was asking Coach Chow about, hey, just the challenges of recruiting there, because, again, you're committing, so many years of your life to the United States military, and it's exposing kids what's available at West Point. Here's Whitaker. And ball chipped out nicely by Oberhaus. Auburn still building with Colson. Colson with a strong right foot. Ball Rattled around in the box, finds Colson again, going to attack the back post, using her height as Smith to get ahead on it, and out of danger is Lauren Drysdale.
Very patient build-up by Auburn. It's the way you want to attack a team that's so compact in the back four. Flip it wide like they just did. Wait for runners to get in the box and then whip it in.
Richards with a low drive. And it's back to Wesh. I actually got a piece of Craven off the foot of Sklopen, but as Whitaker taken down, Adle's going to set up an Auburn set piece, and well, for Auburn, this is within striking distance here, Mac. What are you looking to accomplish here?
Well, this is a classic setup to whip a ball in on the 6-yard box, and somebody just has to deflect it. It's classic Anna Haddock territory. She tends to be very, very accurate, although she does have the option out wide with Haley Whitaker. She wants to exercise that.
Whitaker and Arias making a run. Craven with her second attempt collides with Stroman. Ball at the top of the box. Wesh looking for a move, goes to her left to Arias. Arias cutting back in. Hard deflection by Drysdale. And Smith with a strong leg, and back to Prohaska. But Auburn, they have proven with as high as their back line is playing, Mac, is really Auburn. That's one of the reasons Auburn's been able to control pace. Auburn is not threatened right now by the Army top line, and well, that's giving Auburn a chance to press forward even more.
Army is being pretty smart and dropping their line of confrontation to midfield. They're not even interested in defending until Auburn crosses midfield, and that's allowing them to stay compact. But as you can see right here, it's going to take 7, 8, 10 passes to build to get the numbers to not lose it like they just did.
That was Silvestro and company trying to build up top for Army. Now Murray going back to Oberhaus. And the Tigers looking to counter. And they can do it. And Arias just let it pass. Anna Haddock is on the field. That's certainly the top target for Auburn.
Boy, brilliant build-up by Army on the counter. It's classic when the ball turned over in midfield. But Auburn with a great opportunity just a minute ago. Another chance for Emmy Craven to get on. Stroman not happy about that contact either, but another no call.
Nybish will take the corner for Army. First corner of the afternoon for the Black Knights. Well, this is where they set themselves apart from Sanford in the second half on Thursday night. High ball, and that curls around the back post, and no Black Knight even has a chance on goal.
Very little more frustrating as a coach than to see an opportunity like that, especially when you're being a bit outmatched. Your set pieces are where you have to capitalize and get back in the game. To see one wasted like that, got to serve a little bit better ball.
Strong run from the back line in Smith. Deflected by Madeline Moore. Drysdale finding a teammate out wide left in Oberhaus. Paliot on the turn. And Army just playing keep away from the Tigers to the center back in Ritchie. Urkoff. Hard deflection there for Craven. And after the tie-up, Auburn able to retake control. Candelino getting there to beat Murray. And for Auburn's defense, they're back at first time that they really had to respond here this half, and they didn't press. A good look there for Coach Karen Hoppe.
Well, it was good to see Army building through the feet of their real commander, Lauren Drysdale. She had 4 or 5 touches in that build-up, and it's one of the reasons they were able to keep it so long.
Kando playing it down off the chip, making the turn around Vesey. Arias left foot and wide. 7th shot of the day for Auburn. Another quality opportunity, and well, I know Marissa Arias wants that one back. Had a golden opportunity for her first goal of the year.
Again, sending the ball down the middle, kind of a change of pace. Found Arias in a good spot, but her first touch got the ball stuck under her feet. A little anxious right now. All these forwards for Auburn are. They're just so hungry to get one in the back of the net. She overstruck that one. That almost always makes you pull it wide.
Craven heads it out. And the good news for Army, with how they're building this attack back, they're going through the middle with Drysdale. This is only a 1-0 game. They need 1 goal to get the equalizer here.
Well, they've had several good moments in their build-up, and again, 1 slick ball, 1 quality shot, 1 deflection, and you're right back in it.
It's also important not to be impatient once you get the ball up there, and a little more so for Army right now, just with the time of possession, because certainly I think as the match goes on, no question, Auburn's bench is deep. We saw it in the first half. Fresh legs, I think, will become an issue later. Out of pocket is back for another year with Alyssa Lang and Andrea Carter. We'll take a moment to let Alyssa Arias finish off her shot. Out of pocket is back for another year with Alyssa Lang and Andrea Carter. They'll take you inside the world of SEC sports with laid-back interviews, lots of laughs, and Lang's signature passion for finding the best food the SEC has to offer. Wednesday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central on the SEC Network and the ESPN app.
Tally for number 13, Elise Urkov. And number 17, Jordan Fallenweider. For number 16, Lindsay Smith.
Lots of substitutions on for the Black Knights. Tally in for Urkov and Fallenweider in for Smith. Silvestro goes to the outside back in Oberhaus. And the right side in the second half has been the target for Army's attack. In the first half, it was very much back the left side with Dara Murray. And I'm surprised Murray hasn't been a target since.
Well, Auburn has shut down that wide play for Army, which is where they were having so much success, flipping it out wide. And then that second big switch ball, which is where Dara got so many opportunities, were several in the first half.
Craven with such a powerful right boot. What are areas, though, for improvement here this half for both of these teams? And I mean more so in the midfield, not just up top and finishing the final pass or getting in the back of the net. That's obvious for every team back. But what more tactically can these two teams to get better?
Well, again, for Army, I'm beating this drum, and for good reason, I think, though. Every time they build through the feet of Lauren Drysdale, she gives them the ability to hold the ball for another 2 or 3 seconds. And that allows them to get numbers further up the field. They're defending quite deep. And so I think they have to be patient and build through her feet. For Auburn, I think they've got, the first 5 minutes showed you how dangerous they can be. They packed Army in, flipped the ball wide, and then had some dangerous crosses. They've got to do more of that.
Whitaker pressured. Her shot, her pass rather deflected. And a strong turn by Silvestro. Up the flank, joining the attack is Smith. Left foot, overshot Murray. And it'll go out of play. It'll take an Army roll. Instead of past the end line, it's off the sideline for a deep Auburn throw. And if I'm Army here, Mac, this is where you get numbers forward, you press.
That's right. And again, a good example of their buildup. They got the ball wide. A very nice serve across the middle that once again found Murray in a dangerous position. Just couldn't jump quite high enough.
And back for Army. Seemed to be for a minute. They've played. Well, there's the center back VC retreating. For a minute, it looked like their shape shifted to a 3-back. Little heel pass backwards to Haddock. Haddock, left foot, and didn't have a clean angle on it. As Haddock unable to answer on the opportunity. A little slow to get up after the play. Has had a little collision, I think, there at the top of the box.
32, Izzy Fontana. For number 6, for 26, Kimmy
Give it a look.
Silvestro.
May have stuck her foot in the ground on that one as she went to strike it, or it may have been on the follow-through. Either way, it really hurt.
What do you like about Army, Mac, and their ability to stay in this game? Because, you know, at times they've been a thorn in Auburn's side defensively, breaking down for what seems to be some quality attacks, and, well, they have caused some miscues, especially deep in the box.
Coach Chow wasn't joking when she talked about their principles of play being compact, defending with tenacity. They are very, very hard to break down. As good as Auburn was in his first few minutes, 7, 8, 9 crosses into the box, it was nothing really dangerous on frame.
Well, and Coach Chow, pretty sure she's got a good scouting report on the Tigers today, thankfully, because, well, for her,
T-Ball,
her top assistant, Tori Ball, also known as T-Ball around these parts, is her assistant coach. They got connected in soccer out in Colorado as Coach Chow. She spent 4 seasons at Metropolitan State University of Denver. And T-Ball, she spent 4 seasons at Colorado State. And, well, when the shift happened, it was one phone call away to T-Ball's old boss. And he said, hey, she's a no-brainer to hire. And if T-Ball, if she coaches anything like she plays, and according to Coach Chow, she does. She's direct, she's very intentional, and has a great knowledge of the game.
Well, and if anybody was who didn't have a military background was made for West Point, it's T-Ball. That's the way she played. Everything was incredibly thoughtful, intentional, and she matched that with a work rate that was extraordinary.
Ball into the box. Craven the target. Just unable to get on it cleanly. Craven with 1 goal already. And hey, why not try her again?
Well, and she just couldn't quite climb the ladder in spite of how tall she is to hit down on that. Well served. Right on the 6-yard box. And again, earlier it paid off in the first half. Again, she rises up higher with her head than the keeper can even jump with her hands and tucks it home.
Under 30 minutes to play here in regulation. Auburn leading 1-0. And more close opportunities. They have 10 shots to Army's 3, but nice pass there by Hayden Colson. Candolino splitting the defense. Now Asarius with a touch on to Haddock. Haddock to the left side. Sydney Richards tangled up at the last second with Oberhaus out of play for an Auburn corner.
Cheeky move after cheeky move, and it should have paid off. Sid Richards' first touch was a little too heavy, and that let Army clean it up. They're going to get a second chance, but what a brilliant little reverse nutmeg by Arias to create that entire thing.
Auburn corner kick, we take it back for 4 and a header.
Back post for Craven has been the target on the last 2. Paddock on near side. Didn't have the muster for Craven, as in the vicinity there was Maddie Simpson, but even Simpson didn't have the angle. Craven still at the top, even though she's a center back. Auburn looking for a potential service. Sclopin. And out wide for an Army goal kick.
Anytime you keep your center back up that high, that long, just dump it back in the mixer and look for good stuff.
Well, and Sclopin, she's done that a few times this year. She's got 3 assists already.
Again, great opportunity. Came off of some excellent touches that we didn't quite get to see in that replay. But Sid's first touch didn't make it pay off. A little too heavy.
Again, an incredible play there by Oberhaus. Just the timing, because again, being inside the box, back one mistake, and all of a sudden it's a PK, and well, the lead could have easily doubled. Wesh's pass taken away by Fallenweider. Tigers able to regroup with Candelino to Sclopin, but the pass off the mark to Simpson. Hard to believe, though, Mac, in thinking about how far along we are in the non-conference play. We're already in week 3. Only one more week left of non-conference play before conference action starts in the SEC. Auburn will head to Missouri September 16th for the first SEC match. Next week they have a split home and away, UMass Lowell on Thursday and Sanford on Thursday.
It's time to buckle up. There is, like in baseball, like in football, there's just not a weekend off.
Shot from distance, off the crossbar, deflected out, and oh, what a shot. That was Kira Vesey with a rocket. It is tipped out by Prohaska on a play for an Army corner.
Again, great strike, perfect technique from distance. Hits that ball, lands on the shooting foot. Maddie doing what you've got to do, especially with the slick ball. Get a touch on it, put it on the post, and now reorganize to defend a corner.
Holy moly, the accuracy and the velocity. In the mixer, not out of danger. Fontana sails it high. Thatcher checking in. Tigers getting some fresh legs in for Candelino.
Number 23, Olivia Candelino.
And Thibodeau coming in for Haddock. And you're going to see this often this year, Mac, as some of your top scorers coming off on the front half of the second half, just to allow time to rest, maybe get them on for the last 15. With it being no overtime, it definitely changes the strategy with how you manage your substitutions.
Yeah, sometimes you play for overtime if things are a bit tight or you're starting to get packed in. But now with no overtime, you see coaches even more so pulling their best scorers off for 10 minutes, get some fresh wheels and some hydration, and then throw them back on for those last 10 or 12 and let them press hard.
Oh, but don't let the shot total trick you. 11 shots for Auburn, 5 shots for Army. Army got outshot by a wide margin, 25-7 against Sanford on Thursday night, and they came away with a 1-1 draw.
Well, in their second half against Sanford was when they played themselves back into the game, and they certainly have the opportunity to do that with 22 to go in this one.
Colson tried to bounce one in from the right side. She has one goal on the year. She got one up against Southern Miss, which then again,
who did?
who didn't that day as Auburn scored a season-high 9-0. And, well, that's just one of those matches. That's just how it went. I think Southern Miss much better than what that score indicated. A lot of players out that day, but still for Auburn, in their credit, everything was clicking on all cylinders.
And you got to enjoy days like that. The more telling statistic for me there, and we talked about this a bit at the intro to the show, is 9 goals scored, and how many of those by your 3 strikers who were interchanging up top? Not many.
Army on the run. Recovering is Murray. Even with a box, she has help at the top in Tally, but ran out of play for an Auburn goal kick. Tonight after Troy and Ole Miss football, we'll have SEC Now. They'll have all the latest around the SEC. SEC Now tonight, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Arias has been close a few times today, wanting Thatcher up top.
Arias with an opportunity to play Thatcher in, but again, Arias as a striker wants that ball at her feet, and if she lets go a little earlier, maybe Auburn has a better opportunity.
Going down is Dara Murray. She's okay. Or actually, excuse me, that was Kaylin Bradley that went down. And a free kick coming from the back in Veazey. Veazey, we saw her leg strength a moment ago. Those top of the box, into the hand, got away from Prohaska, goes to get it and buries it.
Very casual catch by Prohaska. She wasn't going to leave her feet, just reached up and tried to snatch that out of the air and got bumped. Really good job to not give up a corner.
Well, also, too, not to give up a rebound after the deflection, because I don't think Tally was that far away from striking distance. Thatcher with a cross in, tangled up. Arias over the shoulder. Auburn making a run near side in Thibodeau. Thibodeau going 1v1. Out wide against Fallenweider. And Army able to force the turnover. Up top is Jasmine Tally. Tally with a little give and go up the far sideline, but Auburn's pressure too much, but a whistle on Haley Whitaker gives Army a chance to reset.
Army doing the right thing here, taking their time, pushing numbers up, not in any hurry. And they're going to have to get a ball in a good position, look for a set piece. Again, all it takes, Britt, is one goal, one moment. Right back in it.
Simpson got a little shoulder on it. Retreating as Colson deflected up in the air by Fontana. Or excuse me, make that Tally. Coming up with a smother is Prohaska. Maddie Prohaska's had an interesting game. She had the one close chance there by Kira Veazey just a few minutes ago. In the first half, I thought she was right place, right time, made some nice saves, but that's tough as a keeper when you're not seeing the ball near as much, and then you get a rocket straight at you. Great response, the crossbar on her side, but holy moly, it's tough as a keeper because you never know when it's going to come your way.
And that's the hardest part of it, is keeping your mental focus when you go 20, 30 minutes, don't touch the ball, and that one shot comes in. And again, a great win by Lauren Drysdale. Wouldn't expect anything else. And Army's got to keep it long enough to get out of their half.
And Auburn very much with under 20 minutes to play. The Tigers, they would love to put this game on ice. They would love another goal to go up 2-0. And they have one win over Old Dominion, won that one 1-0, and then they put up a 9-0 shutout against Southern Miss. Then came the ties. The Tigers had 2 ties against Florida State, 1-1, 0-0 against Wake Forest, and then on Thursday night, 0-0 in a hard-fought game against West Virginia.
Auburn has arguably been the better team in these draws, but Britt, they've already gotten, I know the overtime rule is part of it, but they've already got 3 draws this season in 5 games, which is as many as they've had in all but 2 of their last 8 seasons.
That's incredible. Good ball forward. And on the dive, denying Olivia Fouth was Sage Stroman. And for Stroman today, I've liked her game in net for Army. She's been strong. She's been composed. And the one goal that was scored against Auburn, there was an argument there. There was an argument for interference.
Yeah, she's done a great job of reading the movement of their other captain, Richie, along with Kira Vesey. And so her ability to come out and clean the ball up is without error has been beautiful.
Lash going wide left to Carly Thatcher. Great footwork by the sophomore. Left side, Drysdale to Murray. On a strong run is Talley. Unable to maintain. Aaron Houston will throw it in. Thatcher smooth off the boot out of the air to Haddock. Simpson cutting over. Thibodeau with a turn, and again, the angle too wide.
And beautiful take on a 40-yard switch out of the air by Carly Thatcher. Some good build-up, just looking for that final quality in that last ball.
And Thatcher, that touch, she made that look easy.
Well, it's not. I've tried to take a ball out of the air over and over like that, and she just made it so clean. Auburn not far off the mark there.
Under 15, Army pressing, trying to get one. You get one, who knows? You can rebound and get another quick one. Still plenty of time to do it, as we're just south of 15 minutes left in regulation here in this non-conference matchup, which, by the way, Mac, we were looking back. I think this is the first Army team to ever make the trip to Auburn, Alabama.
You know, it's. I think you're right, and you know, I've said it 3 or 4 times. I'll say it at least once more. It's an honor to witness this moment and to know that when they leave here, they're headed back to West Point, into that regimen, into the discipline and into leadership in this country. And it's soccer is the easiest part of their day, Britt.
And Coach Chow, she was so complimentary of her team and understanding of her team, of just being a resource, being a support system for her players. And again, that's what it was so interesting to learn about this week. It wasn't just the soccer, it was more so the culture and how they live day to day, how they prep day to day, and it is something few can do at a high level as they do every day. Coming up for help, wisely Sage Stroman to take the pressure away from Auburn. When I asked Coach Chow again, then touched on this earlier, just, hey, how does she recruit? What does she look for? And obviously the number one thing going to Army, well, academics. Academics, you've got to be able to succeed there before. You don't want to put a kid in a situation where they're going to be uncomfortable, set them up to fail. So that's the first step. And then number 2 is educating people and students and parents about what West Point is all about. That, hey, it's not just infantry positions available for students. I mean, there are doctors, there are nurses, there are all kinds of different positions in Army or at Army that are available for students. And that's been, I think, the most interesting challenge for Coach Chow, as Army pressing up top, just unable to connect in numbers with Jasmine Talley.
Oh, the sense of community and fellowship within that community is so intense. So many connections to be made all around the country from West Point graduates to support them.
Ball over the top. Thatcher tangled up at the last moment with Emma Ritchie. Thatcher just couldn't hit it cleanly as Stroman takes it away. Floyd Thatcher, she continues to be a target there, Mac.
She is. Everywhere she goes, she's dangerous. Great feet, great runs, really quick. I think she's continuing to earn herself more and more minutes.
And for Army, too, it was fun to learn in soccer. You know, in football, let Anna Haddock finish this run. Diving effort that goes wide. And Anna Haddock trying to tack on her 3rd goal of the year, the captain for Auburn. Had a few chances today, not as many as we saw on Thursday.
Well, Army's back 4 starting to get a bit tired. And these late runs out of the midfield are starting to pay off. Anna Haddock with the right idea caught Stroman stepping as she had to on that breakthrough. Tried to chip her.
Number 23, Olivia Candelino, replacing number 27, Olivia Fout.
Silvestro in, Richards back in for Auburn, and Candelino in to replace Olivia Fout.
What I like to see for Auburn is with Sid Richards coming back in, we know how quality she is. Didn't take Carly Thatcher out, simply flipped her to the opposite side to let her work.
The Army sub is number 15.
One more substitution.
For number 22, Jasmine Talley.
Jasmine Talley coming off after some strong minutes. Caitlin Palian coming in. And Talley, she was in the mix of a lot of those runs for Army. Ball in, the target is Murray. Still ping pong in. Blocked by Craven on an attempt, and diving on it is Prohaska. Boy, Army just inches away from possibly finding the back of the net.
And again, there's the reminder to Auburn that even though they've been very dominant in the second half, it turns on just a dime. Again, several bounces in the box. Could have been a handball, could have gotten a weird deflection. Got to keep their focus. Again, nice feed into the box. Several attempts to clear it. Ball hitting off of everybody. Went everywhere except in the back of the net.
Under 10 minutes to play. Tigers up 1-0 over Army. Auburn with 14 shots to Army 6, but Army has come close quite a few times. Ball into the box, still a chance. Thatcher coming in with a header chance. And Anna Haddock goes to chase it down. Cross blocked up from the back. Out of play for an Auburn corner. Tigers scored their first goal of the match on a corner in the first half. Anna Haddock connected with Emmy Craven on the back post. St. Stroman has been strong today. He's got to be strong one more time for Army. Hayden Colson checking in for Aaron Houston.
And Auburn pushing all of its height up into the box, pulling Haley Whitaker back, serving it short, and now the reserve.
Back post, up and over the top. It was Arias. Wasn't sure, Mac, if she was trying to net it in or possibly trying to set up a teammate that was more level with the goal line.
And Sid Richards on that back post that time, and you'd like to see her put that back across the front of the goal. It looked like, I think she was trying to get a really tight angle score for herself.
Kando cuts it in. Thibodeau with room. Richards shuffling the feet, going right with the right foot. And actually was chipped out.
I love the idea. She drove that. Everybody in the whole place knew she wanted it on her left foot. So she cut it back right and tried to whip it in the upper 90. It's a shot you have wingers train on all day long. And when it pops up that high, it's either a terrible mishit or a deflection for a corner.
By number 4, Anna Haddock.
Corner coming for Anna Haddock and the Tigers. Auburn's going towards the center of the box, and Craven Fallenweider plays it down. Run from behind was West to take it back. Now Thatcher. Thatcher seems to be in some pain. Ball's kicked back all the way to midfield, and a throw in for Madeline Moore. Thatcher up on her own power.
Interesting no call, unless Carly's a really, really, really good actor. Looks like there was some follow through, and Army very fortunate not to be defending a deep set piece.
Well, if you're Auburn up 1-0 here, it's nice to be able to have that luxury to press, Mac, because this is what you want to avoid. You want to avoid that counter. You want to play keep away for the next 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Making a strong run is Dara Murray. Murray with quality chances in the first half. The 5'4" senior out of Mission Viejo, California.
Really important defending work by Hayden Colson just then, number 20 for Auburn. Didn't ever touch the ball, but her pressure stopped that counterattack and gave Auburn a chance to get numbers back behind it.
And ball out of play for an Auburn goal kick. What idea if you're Army. Caitlin Palian just unable to get on the end of it to slow play and slow the pace, because that's been Army's trouble in their last few attempts. So Sklopan, Arias in for Auburn.
26, Grace Sklopan. Number 15, Sydney Thibodeau.
Urkoff in for Murray. And why not put Urkoff in? Hey, she got you the lucky goal on Thursday. Let her go at it again.
Again, Army struggling without 14. Drysdale on the field to hold the ball.
Yeah.
But they've got it deep in, and just need to treasure the possession for a minute or two to create a crease in the Auburn back four.
Good wall there on the back line for Madeline Moore. Notice the knee brace, and she has won. She has battled the injuries. Started 8 games last year before her season was ended early, and I know she is one that is glad to be back playing full 90 minutes. She actually, Mac, was emotional last week after she played some meaningful matches against Florida State and Wake Forest, and just told Coach Hoppe and said, hey, I just didn't think I'd be able to get to this point again, because you got to think for most athletes, I mean, you can't overcome them, but it's a tall task for any player that has a knee injury.
It is, especially the bane of women's athletics is torn ACLs, and it's so hard to come back and be at full strength ever, much less after a year. She'd only just crossed the 9-month mark when she played 90 minutes against last year's national champion Florida State Seminoles. And if anybody deserved to be emotional, it was her.
Haley Whitaker has something she does well from the back. The set up her captain, Anna Haddock. Throw in deep for Auburn, even when the box clock ticks down just north of 3 minutes.
Really good shape in the back for Army. That last 30 seconds, Auburn's combination play was beautiful, and there were still no creases for Auburn to take advantage of.
Kando to Richards, blocked from the back. That was Vizu who got a block on it. Now Auburn, this is where they want to play it. They want to play it in the corners, inside their attacking thirds, hold the ball, and get out of here with a 1-0 win. But Army's got something to say about that. They've got one more attack. They've got time for one more true attack, because they've got to go the length of the field if they can get possession back.
And they've had to retreat so deep. They've got 2 banks of 4 defenders, and they've dropped their wingers, their striker. So even if they do win the ball, and Auburn's doing what I teach my teams to do, they're taking it to the corner, they're killing the game, Britt. with a single goal lead. Just keep it in the corner and kill the clock off, but Army's going to have its work cut out for them if they do win possession back.
It is Richards for Auburn, being double teamed by Fontana.
The Army sub is number 20.
Nybish coming in for Duffy.
30, Bridget Duffy.
And looks like the soccer complex rain starting to fall outside as well. So just as it did at the end of the first half, it's doing it at the end of the second half. And when it started raining, Auburn found the goal in the first half of play off a corner. Minute 20 left to play in regulation. Auburn seeking their third win of the year. Army trying to come back for a draw for their third of the year. But Candolino dribbles it all the way down to the corner.
Yeah, had perfect opportunity to cross that ball, even had Arias in the box. But what's the point? Kill the game. Don't give their keeper, Stroman, a chance to pluck it out of the air and rip it up the field and one more counterattack.
Army's got a chance and a quick reset for the keeper in Stroman. 50 seconds to play in regulation. Whitaker knocks it back inside the Army defensive third. And now if you're Auburn, just clear it out. Clear it out with 35 seconds left. These athletes, though, today, start to finish, have played back a competitive 90 minutes. They have played hard, great sportsmanship, and a pleasure to see the Army Black Knights in person.
Well, if you'd have told me that one of our military academies, who, again, as you've mentioned, are working against some recruiting difficulties that other teams, especially the SEC, are not facing, was going to come in and play like this. Beautiful defensive structure. Very proud to be here today to see this.
Auburn able to dribble it out as time expires. The Auburn Tigers win it 1-0 over the Army Black Knights. Mac Matthews, it was a goal off a corner. That was the difference. Auburn had the chances, but Army, they held their own. They had chances of their own today as well.
Now, every reason for Coach Chow and these incredible young ladies to be proud of what they've done today. Auburn, a really good SEC team, only scoring on a set piece. Great work by both teams, Britt.
For Mac Matthews, I'm Britt Bowen saying so long from Auburn, where the final score is Auburn 1, Army 0. Be sure